What's up, Kings Nation? Zavi here, and today I'm bringing you the weekly predictions for Week 15. But before we go into Week 15, we have to go back and look at Week 14 and see how many we got right, how many we got wrong. And this week, I think I did pretty bad. I think I got a little over 50% of them right, but let's find out. So, first game, Raiders versus the Steelers. I said Raiders versus the Steelers. Oh my god. Raiders versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs won that one, so we got that one wrong. Bills versus the Steelers. The Steelers won that one, so we got that one correct though. Titans versus the Broncos. We picked the Titans. The Titans won. Redskins versus the Eagles. We picked the Redskins and the Redskins won. Cardinals versus the Dolphins. We picked the Cardinals. The Cardinals barely lost, so we got that one wrong. Vikings versus the Jaguars. We picked the Vikings and the Vikings won. Texans versus the Colts. We picked the Colts, but the Colts lost, so we got that one wrong. Chargers versus the Panthers. We picked the Chargers and the Panthers won, so we got that one wrong. Bengals versus the Browns. We picked the Bengals and the Bengals won, so we got that one correct. Bears versus the Lions. We picked the Lions. The Lions pulled it out and won. 49ers versus the Jets. We picked the Jets and the Jets won. Bucks versus the Saints. We picked the Bucks and the Bucks won. Rams versus the Falcons. We picked the Falcons and the Falcons won. Seahawks versus the Packers. We picked the Seahawks and the Packers won, so we got that one wrong. This next one, I told y'all last week I wanted to pick the Giants so bad, but I didn't. So, Cowboys versus the Giants. We picked the Cowboys and the Giants won, so we got that one incorrect. Ravens versus the Patriots. Patriots won. We got that one correct. So let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 wrong to go 8 and 6. 8 and 6. So the new overall record for us is. Wait a minute. The new overall record for us is 51 and 19. Yeah, 51 and 19. So that kind of hurt us a little bit. So we went 8 and 6. We're 51 and 19 now. Let's go ahead and move on to week 15. So first things first, look for any easy games. Normally the easy games are the people that's playing the 49ers, the Browns, and the Bears. So obviously the Bills are winning this game against the Browns. The Falcons are winning against the Niners. Who else has an easy game? I say that's it. So, the reason why the Falcons versus the 49ers game is an easy game, it's the 49ers. Shouldn't have to explain that. Bills versus Browns, it's the Browns. Shouldn't have to explain that either. So, let's go ahead and get into this Thursday night games. Rams versus the Seahawks. Now, most people would right away play the Seahawks, but little do you know, the Rams actually play the Seahawks hard. And actually, the Rams beat the Seahawks the last time they played. And the Seahawks are on a 2-game losing streak where they got blown the fuck out. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck going on with the Seahawks, but I kind of want to pick the Rams. Like, I really want to pick the Rams, but they ain't got shit going for themselves either. They just fired Jeff Fisher, so you never know. They could spark up something new. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Seahawks. I'm gonna say that they mad that the Rams whooped them the last time they played, so I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Now this Jets versus the Dolphins game, obviously. It's a Saturday night game. But obviously, I'm going with the Dolphins. Reason being, the Dolphins actually have something to play for, and you know, the Jets are the Jets. Yeah. So Packers versus the Bears. I'm gonna say the Packers win this one, but it's gonna be a very close. Well, it could be a close game. I say it's gonna be a close game. Now this Eagles versus the Ravens. This really isn't a hard pick, but at the same time it is. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Ravens because the Eagles been on some shit lately. So that's the reasoning behind this one. Now this Titans versus Chiefs game is a hard pick because both teams have the potential to win this matchup. But I think I'm gonna have to hop back on the Chiefs train and pick the Chiefs. Bengals versus the Steelers. I have to go with the Steelers even though the Bengals have been producing lately. I'm gonna have to go with the Steelers just because, as I keep saying, they have more to play for. Lions versus the Giants. Now this one's a 50-50 game. But if I had to pick one team to win this one, I'm going to have to give this to, let's see. I'm going to have to give it to the Lions. Or maybe not. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give this to the Giants. Reason being, they're coming off of a huge W. And I think last week, the Lions barely beat the Bears. So, I know they've been doing their things, but I'm going to have to go with the Giants on this one. Just because. Colts versus the Vikings. I think the Vikings are still on some shit, but I think the Vikings might get AP back this week. So that might change the game around. But overall, I'm going to have to go with the Colts. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going with the Vikings. Just because the Colts don't have a defense and the Vikings have a defense to stop the Colts offense. So I'm going with the Vikings. And if they get AP back, that's a bonus. Now, Texans versus the Jaguars. I say the Texans I say the Texans will win this one, but the Jags will be very close in this game. So I'm gonna have to give this one to the Texans. Now, Cardinals versus the Saints. This one's obvious. Cardinals because the Saints have no defense. Just for that reason, I'm picking the Cardinals. Chargers versus the Raiders. I'm picking the Chargers, obviously, for many reasons. And like we were supposed to beat them the first time we played, but like our punter fucked up the game. But we ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna pick the Chargers. Like if you disagree with that, you just disagree. Now Patriots versus the Broncos. This one's obvious. The Patriots. Why? Because the Broncos defense is fucking overrated. And they have no offense. Again, if you disagree with that, you just have to deal with it. Now, the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. This one's 50-50. The Cowboys are coming off of a L that really hurt them. The Bucks have been doing their thing. Like they've been balling out for about 3 to 4 weeks now. They just been doing their shit. So you know what? I'm gonna have to go against the Cowboys this week, and I say the Bucks will win this game. Unless the Cowboys put Romo back in. If they put Romo back in, then they got this game. But right now, I'm giving this game to the Bucks. Now, Panthers versus the Redskins. I'm giving this to the Redskins. Reason being is the Panthers are fucking garbage. Like, they're just garbage. Like, so I'm just gonna have to give it to the Redskins because you know they've been balling out and everything. So that's all the picks for this week. Now let's go into who you should start and sit. So for the Rams versus the Seahawks, start Russell Wilson and Thomas Rawls because the Rams defense kind of suspect. Dolphins versus the Jets, go ahead and start Ajayi, however you say his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Start him, and you could also start Um, Jarvis Landry. Yeah, I'll start them. And Green Bay versus the Bears. Go ahead, start Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson. They're gonna have a field day. Bills definitely start LaShawn McCoy, Tyrod Taylor. Start them too because they're in for big days because obviously it's the Browns. Eagles versus the Ravens. Um, I say you go ahead and start their defense and Joe Flacco. But yeah, definitely start their defense because it's the Eagles. Titans versus the Chiefs. You can start any one of these quarterbacks. Definitely start Delaney in this game. And definitely start Travis, Tyreek Hill, and that's about it for that. Also on the Titan side, you could start the DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, one of those if you want to, because Derrick Henry have been getting his reps lately, been doing pretty decent. So you go ahead and start him as like a flex. Steelers versus the Bengals, definitely start Le'Veon and AJ. Le'Veon and Antonio Brown because the Bengals have, well, they have corners, but like their defense kind of suspect. So go ahead and start Le'Veon. He's coming off a big week too. Lions versus the Giants. Go ahead and start Odell. Start Golden Tate, and you go ahead and start Matthew Stanford too. I say he's gonna have a good game too, even though I picked him to lose. Colts versus the Vikings. If AP comes back, definitely 100% start him if he comes back. Definitely. But if he doesn't, then I don't know if Stephon Diggs is playing, but go ahead and start him too. Jaguars versus the Texans. Definitely start Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller is going to have a big game against the fucking Jags. No jokes. All jokes aside. Biggest game of his career. Well, maybe. Now, this Cardinals game, go ahead and start everybody. Start the defense, the offense, the special teams. Start everybody. You know why? Because the Saints don't have a defense. David Johnson finna have about 300 yards. I might be over-exaggerating a little bit. Larry Fitz finna have 300 yards. I think Michael Floyd got suspended. Yeah, I think he got suspended for DUI. Yeah, just go ahead and start everybody. Like, you can't go wrong with that. Falcons versus the 49ers. I don't know if Julio is playing, but if Julio is playing, start him. Start Devonta Freeman. Start Telvin Coleman if he's back. I don't know. And that's pretty much for that. Raiders versus the Chargers. Now, I don't know if Melvin's gonna be back for this game. So, if he's not back, go ahead and start Kenneth Farrow because he showed a lot of promise last week. Like, he should have been splitting the load with Melvin, and that would never happen to Melvin. And go ahead and start Hunter Henry, Antonio Gates, and Tyrell Williams. And the Raiders start their defense. I ain't gonna lie. Start their defense. Start Amari, Crabtree, Latavius, and maybe Derek if you want to. Patriots versus the Broncos. Definitely start LeGarrette Blount. Start Deion Lewis or James White, whichever one. Any of those three running backs. Start any of the three receivers, pretty much. And if you want to, you go ahead and start their defense because the Broncos' offense isn't good in the slightest. Now, this Cowboys versus the Bucks game, I don't think it's any clear-cut people you should start, but, like, everyone knows you should start Zeke about every week or whatever because he's going to get his no matter what. On the Bucks side, start Mike Evans because he's going to get his no matter what. And if you want, you can start the Bucks defense, but I wouldn't 100% guarantee that. Now, Panthers versus the Redskins. Go ahead and start Jordan Reed and Deshaun Jackson. Being the Panthers, I think Luke is still out. So there's that. Oh yeah, and also start their running back. I can't think of the Redskins running back name, but go ahead and start him. But the reason why you want to start Deshaun Jordan Reed, one, the Panthers don't have any corners. And so, yeah, they're just going to have a field day. But this has been the weekly predictions with the fantasy starts and sit. As always, hope this series is helping you guys win or whatever you're using these videos for. But as always, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.